Hi, I'm Paul from SET English. In this video, we're going to talk about what really happens in reading Part C. Why is it that we get confused? I'm going to talk about the text. I'm going to talk about a question, and we're going to see how distractors are used and how answers are created. Okay, so if you're interested, before we get started, click the link below and you'll be able to download a really useful PDF that's based on this class, and please like and subscribe. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we'll talk about is building ideas. So I'm talking about the paragraphs in OET. How do they build up ideas? Well, a good way to think about the paragraphs is like this. Think of the paragraphs as like a wall, and in each brick here you've got a sentence. Okay, all of these are sentences. What do you think I'm going to write in this last one? You're right, it's sentence. Each one of them have got sentences, okay? And those sentences, they've not been organized randomly. You know, they don't just put the sentences in any structure. They put them in a specific structure because it creates meaning, it creates ideas. And what I'd like to talk about is that in a little bit more detail, okay? So, combining those sentences are things like linkers. And I see that these are connected almost like this, okay? There's something connecting and binding these sentences together. Now, sometimes it's linkers, sometimes it might be other things. Okay, but those sentences have been organized in a specific structure, in a specific pattern, so you can build up a complex idea. And why that's important is because OET Reading Part C is trying to check if you are capable of building ideas over a period, over a group of sentences. That's what they want. Okay, so let's think about why. Why do sentences go together? Why do they follow each other? Why is it this sentence and then that one? Well, I think that there are a few different reasons for that. Okay? They could be showing contrast in the following sentence. So they could be showing something opposite or surprising after the first bit. They could be adding something. They could be showing a result. They could be showing a cause. They could be showing an example of something that you've just discussed. They could be giving more proof, more evidence. They could be giving opinions. They could be giving a conclusion towards the end of the text. So what we should try and remember is not to underestimate the role of linkers, okay, and referencing. Now, by linkers, what I'm talking about are phrases like consequently, as a result of this, subsequently, however. Those are linkers that link sentences together. Now, what I'm not focusing too much on in this class is clauses being linked together by conjunctions inside sentences or preposition phrases. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sentence order and how ideas are constructed, are built inside a paragraph. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you a paragraph. All right? Here's a paragraph. Now, what you could do at this point is you can stop the video if you want, and you can read it if you want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to give it a sentence by sentence breakdown. So if you want to stop, you can, and you can read it. That's fine. I'll show it to you again. But what I'm going to do is I'm immediately going to go down and start examining and analysing the paragraph. So you can pause now if you want. Okay, so here's a breakdown into paragraphs of each of these, into sentences of each of the sentences there. So let's sort of go through, have a quick look. First sentence here is often called the topic sentence. It sort of sets the theme for a paragraph. Okay. Look at the next sentence. I'm going to draw a little sort of connection, a little bond there. There are many reasons. So artificial intelligence is seen as the solution to many of the NHS's problems. Okay. There are many reasons why this is the case. Well, ask yourself, what does this mean? This is referring to the fact that people think that artificial intelligence is the solution to NHS problems. That's a bond, that's a connection between this sentence and the one that came before. Okay, next, many see the main driver for adopting this new technology as the efficiency it can provide. All right, okay, so the main driver. Well, that's sort of like a reason, isn't it? So it's flowing. And this new technology. Okay, well, this new technology must be artificial intelligence. It is artificial intelligence. So we can see, can't we, that with every sentence that we use, we're finding some way of either connecting to the sentence that came before or some other thing that they're referencing inside the text. Okay, so this is how they build ideas. They've put three sentences together. Straight away, we've referred back to the first one to mention something in it. And we're supposed to understand and comprehend the point that the writer is making. And you will be tested on this. Okay, now we've got some longer sentences. Although there has been some resistance to implementing AI in hospitals by some colleagues, limited real-world experiments have shown that using AI can reduce appointment waiting times. Okay, so now what we've done here is we've used a bit of contrast so we can see that there are two clauses being linked together in this sentence, which is great. But if you think about it, the point of this sentence is limited real-world experiments have shown that AI can reduce appointment waiting times. That is an example, isn't it, of efficiency that AI can prove, that can provide. So what does it do in the next sentence? Next sentence, okay, so we've got connections between all of these sentences. Next one, in one project in Leicester University Hospital, a new AI appointment modelling system found a way of quickly updating cancellations, resulting in, okay, there's another nice linker between clauses, okay, that's good, resulting in a reduction in the number of unused genitourinary consultation rooms. So this is a real example. All right, this is some evidence, some theoretical evidence over here, and then this is an example in this paragraph. There are no linkers, but we've got to think again, as we said earlier, this is an example. That's a reason for making a sentence. There's not always an obvious linguistic connection, but why have they put it here? They've put it here because they introduced the concept of efficiency being a good part of AI. They gave a little bit of an explanation for that, and then they gave an example. Okay? Next, this led to greater utilization of available spaces. We've got some more referencing. We've got result language. So this is all about a result of what happened in the previous sentence. And this final one, both patients and staff reported satisfaction with the new process. Okay, this is a conclusion, and it's a conclusion of everything that came before. Okay, so I think what you can see there is that they clearly order these sentences in a logical way. So you can build up an idea. Right at the very beginning, there was an idea that artificial intelligence could be the solution to problems in the NHS. And by the end of it, they're showing that there is positive results from using AI. And they've given you lots of detail. And because they've given you that detail, they can make questions. So let's go and talk about questions. I'm going to talk about how answer options distract and how the correct answers put together different parts of information from the paragraph. Okay, now before we do it, let me remind you, click the link below if you want to register and get some really useful PDFs Subscribe, like us, and if you're interested in studying with us, obviously get in touch with us. Okay, so I'm going to show you the question. All right, let's go and have a look at the question. Here it is. Now, like before, I'm going to give you the option. You can pause now if you want, and then you can try and answer this question. I advise that. I think that's a good idea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to tell you the answer, and then I'm going to explain why the incorrect answers are incorrect and explain why the correct answer is correct. Okay, so it's your choice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, the correct answer is B. If you got B, well done. Okay. Now, why is that the case? Well, let's talk about how OET Part C distracts. Okay. By nature of the type of question, there are always 4 options. Well, 3 of them must be wrong. Now, they don't. The people who make the exams don't think, oh, how can I do this differently for every question? They have tricks that they can use, distracting tricks, ways of making you feel like this is the answer when it isn't. So I'm going to show you a few of those now, just a couple of them actually, because it's only one question and there are a variety of them, and quite often we go through these in our classes. But let's review it. Okay, let's look at A. Certain departments will benefit from AI more than others. So if I was you, I would look straight away for certain departments. And some people will think, oh yeah, I remember that. Genitourinary. That was a certain department, wasn't it? I found one. Great. That's in the text. Make a better tick there. Yeah. But the way to think about reading Part C is the options. Some of it may match, but part of it might not. So I need to know about this. Certain departments will benefit from AI more than others. So there is a comparison here. Now, my first question to you is, how many other departments are there in this text? There are none. Okay, so straight away, it's a comparison that isn't given. Another thing as well is that certain departments will benefit. Well, we only know about genitourinary from the fact that it was in a project which has finished. So that must be the past. It doesn't talk about the future of that department. So A's gone. Okay. Let's look at C. NHS users and workers. Can we find any synonyms? Now, I think we can. Let's change colour. Okay, I think we can. Last sentence. Patients, they are customers of the NHS, I guess. Or they're users of the NHS. And staff, they're workers, aren't they? What does it say? It says they reported satisfaction. Here it says they've raised concerns. Well, that doesn't match, does it? So NHS users and workers does, but raised concerns doesn't. But what's that, you say? What does it say up here? Okay, it says, although there has been some resistance to implementing AI in hospitals by some colleagues. Ooh, well, they must have raised some concerns, mustn't they? But what about NHS users? Did they raise concerns? Okay, they did not raise concerns. So C has gone. So that way, it's not a comparison, but partially match, partially not matching. Okay, so we're going to say that that's a partial. Let's look at D. One project. Okay, let's get that pen out again. One project. Oh, we found a project. Here it is. Okay. Proved that AI is of limited value. Well, if you think about it, there's a couple of things happening here. One, they're talking about the value of the project. Now ask yourself, do you think that the writer thinks that the project was of limited value? There's no suggestion of that. What they've done is they've gone to this word limited. And what they're trying to make you do is say, well, I've seen the word limited, so maybe it matches. But actually, this is the opposite. It's a contradiction. Okay? It's not the same. Now, there are other types of distractor as well. There are different ones that we often find. If you go through a couple of reading part C texts and questions, you'll find a range of different ways that they can confuse you. But that's what they've done. We've got to have this attention to detail. Now, the correct answer. How do we get to the correct answer for this one? Well, let's go and have a look at it and try and analyze it and see what it is about option B that matches the text and answers the question. How does it happen? Okay, so let's go and have a look. Right. Research results support widely held opinions about AI. So first of all, research results. Can we find that? Well, down here it says resulting in a reduction of the number of unused genitourinary consultation rooms. This in turn led to greater utilization of available spaces. Okay, so that was the result of our project. Projects, research, studies, all of those kind of initiatives quite often connect. So we've got research results. So far, so good. We've got one part of it, but can we find the rest of it? What does it say? It says research results support widely held opinions about AI. So my next task has to be widely held opinions. Now, if you go back in the text all the way up to this, many see. If many see something, then that is a widely held opinion. So what does it say? Many see the main driver for adopting this new technology is the efficiency it can provide. Okay, so we've got a widely held opinion, all right? And we've got research results. This word's really important, support. Do the research results support the widely held opinions? Well, I think we can argue, can't we, that this is efficiency. The results show that AI can be efficient. And that was the widely held opinion. The widely held opinion was that AI can be efficient. This new technology is artificial intelligence. Now, I think that that's a classic example of how reading part C works. Okay? Some of the information's in one part of the paragraph, some of the information's in another part of the paragraph. That's how it works. So we've got to be able to build our ideas. If we go up and have a look here, we've got to be able to understand how ideas are built here, how they're connected, and how a sophisticated idea is created. After we do that, we've got to be able to analyze the answer options, recognize distractors, have good attention to detail, and eliminate in order to choose the right answers. Okay, so let's give you some advice. Here's my advice from what I've learned over years of doing reading part C. First of all, don't underestimate grammar and referencing. Sentence structure, linkers, referencing like this, that, which, who, and these, those, they always refer back to something earlier in the text. Okay, so don't underestimate grammar and referencing. Gain reading experience. Okay, by reading, you come to subconsciously understand how paragraphs flow and how ideas are built. You'll learn new vocabulary, you'll improve your grammar. It surprises me. Lots of people go to the reading exam and the only reading they've done in the last 2 years is for the test. They've only done practice tests. Well, ask yourself, if you had to go and win a cookery competition, would you do no cooking apart from one recipe and then take that recipe to the competition? No, you wouldn't. You have to cook all the time. You have to learn loads of things and learn tricks and ways of coping, and you never know when that little bit of technique's going to help you. Okay, so read, read, read. Don't let it be something strange and difficult for you in the test. Practice intelligently, all right? Don't just use tests. Oh, I got 10. Next test. Oh, I got 20. Next test. Don't do that. What you get wrong, you need to examine. Why did I get that one wrong? You can use texts to build skills. So you can look at referencing. You can learn vocabulary. You can practice skimming and scanning. All right? Practice with friends. Don't just practice alone. And I'm going to say it here. Can a teacher help? Can someone like me give you some advice? Can I help you with your language? Can I help you with technique? All right? All of these things I think will help. All right? So I hope that this video was useful for you. It's something that we feel really passionate about at SET English. You know, it happens a lot that people struggle with reading Part C, and we really try as much as we can to help people. That's why we do 5 hours a week on reading, okay, every week. We do lots of vocabulary and techniques, etc. So if you're interested in joining us, then get in touch. Click the link below. You can register to get more information from us. And please like and subscribe. Hopefully we'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.